transformed. So I don't express my gratitude. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I was waiting for this day. One day I want to invite him to Columbus. So the day came after many years. So let's give a big round of applause one more time. So, and also he's been accompanied by Damodar Prabhu. I was in touch with him. So they were very busy. Columbus is not part of the trip itinerary. So somehow or other, then when I reached out to him, he didn't want to say no. So this is, if it comes on the way, then we can make it. It comes on the way, not directly, but little detour. I didn't tell him. From Detroit to Govinda, they're leaving tomorrow. So our Gopinath Prabhu is very, very senior, almost 35 plus years is in the movement. So he had a call from within. He was telling me how he became a devotee. So very wonderful, where he had a calling from within, he wanted to surrender. So he surrendered and never looked back. Even though it's a little push from his family, but somehow or other he chose a decision that he saw that a real help in humanity, serving God and surrender, so that he can also contribute to the world. So Prabhu, in '89, he came in contact with ISKCON, then eventually later on Brahmachari, serving Radha Gopinath, very senior. He's part of the temple management board, and then he helps the counselors who counsels the devotees. He's a counselor of the council. So very methodologically, very systematically study and also teaches by example, walking the talk. That's really, really amazing. And then under him, there's so many centers. He travels within US and other, not US, within India, and also the centers affiliated with Radha Gopinath Temple. He travels. He gives his valuable time in association. And then, as I said, he's also created the Science of Self-Realization 6 course. And then, running short of my words. By profession, he had a master's. So that is profession. Now let me talk about your responsibility. So let me talk about Damodar Prabhu. Damodar Prabhu is actually graduated from India. So he's from IIT, BTech and MTech. So then he's from North India, Punjab. So he teaches in Bhaktivedanta Vidyapith and also VIT, right? Vrindavan Institute of Technology. So Mayapur Institute of Technology. He teaches Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Bible courses, and then he lives in GEV, working with Govinda Prabhu. So let's give a big round of applause. I can see a lot, I can see them. I'm short of, because of gratitude, I'm not getting the words. All I can say, thank you very much, Prabhu. Let's give big round of applause. Hari Bol Singh, louder. I also want to thank Guru Prabhu Kalini Singh Mataji for opening today. Hare Krishna. And then, even though to stand a little late, and then Prabhu, we can go beyond 8:30, whatever. No, we are not in hurry. Is anybody in hurry? Please. Hare Krishna. Topic.
Activities that steal our bhakti.
Please say.
Forbidden activities in Krishna consciousness that steal our bhakti. The forbidden activities are not in Krishna consciousness.
It's good that I didn't say it.
You knew, right?
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
You just can move forward. We can see people.
Hare Krishna. So we are very happy and we feel very honored to be here today this evening. Our gratitude to Naveen Krishna Prabhu for inviting us and giving us this opportunity. He came all the way, midway, drove for around 2 hours to pick us up. Another devotee came from Detroit and we met in between, but it's a long drive for Prabhu to come and pick us up, and he's kindly hosting us at his home. I'd like to express gratitude to Mother Kalindi Sundari Devi and Rukram Prabhu for hosting us in their home, in their heart. So, I want to thank all of you for coming all the way. Today the weekday, tomorrow again there is work. So, you have taken all the time to come this evening. I'm really grateful to you all. So, I'll speak briefly. I'll introduce the topic. My service to assist is with Radha Gopinath Prabhu. And Prabhuji will then elaborately explain, and you can ask him questions also. So, our today's evening topic is the invisible theft. That means this is about we receive mercy in the activities of bhakti. We receive the mercy of the Lord, mercy of the devotees. But then that which nourishes our devotional service. But then that mercy may be just stolen away or drained away by certain activities, by certain attitude which are highly unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. This is described by Lord Chaitanya Rupa Goswami. He says our growth of our devotional service is like the growth of a creeper. Bhakti Lata example is given. But then what may happen is, along with Bhakti Lata, there may be other weeds growing which look very similar to the main plant. And we may not be able to distinguish the weeds from the main plant. And those weeds take away all the nourishment. And the main creeper remains stunted. The main creeper doesn't grow. So we will discuss briefly about those activities which are described in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Lord Chaitanya himself. So there is a verse which describes that, again this is Material 19th chapter. Lord Chaitanya is describing to Rupa Goswami. Nishiddhachara kutinati jiva himsan labh puja pratishtha adhiyat upashaka gan. So these are weeds, these are upashaka. They steal away the nourishment which is meant to go to the Bhakti Lata. So the Prabhupada elaborates in the purport. I will be referring to that. The first is duplicitous behavior. Duplicitous behavior, kutinati. What is this duplicitous behavior? I will give one small example to understand duplicitous behavior. There was one person, he was doing very, his business was going down. And he really prayed to God that help me to overcome, losses in my business, and again my business may flourish. I will sell my house and give the donation to the temple. If I do well in the business, then this house I will sell and I will buy another smaller house, and I will give the whole money to the temple. So he made that prayer, and by God's grace he started doing well in the business, and the real estate also increased. So his house was then estimated at something like 5 million. Now he had promised to God that I will donate, sell my house and donate the money. But then he thought, this is too much of money to be donated to. Right? So what he did, he advertised, buy a home at $500, not 5 million, $500, and contact me, privately. So many people, $500, someone is selling a home. So people contacted him and he said, when people came to, he called them the prospective buyers. He said, yes, home is for 500, but I have a cat at home. You have to buy a cat also along with the home, and the cat is 5 million. So you have to, it's a combo offer. We advertise only. So you have to buy a cat also along with home. Yeah. So then, someone who liked the home, they bought for 5,500,000. And he donated 500 to God, the temple to God. Because that's what was his promise. He donated $500 and kept the 5 million with him. So this is a kind of a duplicitous behavior, where we want to cheat. We want to cheat God. But actually we will be cheated. We do not know. We cannot cheat Krishna. So what we learn from here is, there is a tendency that we pose ourselves as at very advanced in devotional service, while we are not. We pose ourselves very saintly while we may be struggling to follow 4 regularity principles. This happens. So these are duplicitous behavior. And our Acharya described the Lord can deliver any fallen person. Doesn't matter how fallen the person is. But he will not deliver one who is duplicitous. That means Lord Chaitanya is Patit Pavan, but he is not Kapat Pavan. Kapat is duplicitous behavior. Doesn't matter the person is fallen, but he admits, I am very fallen, I am struggling in devotional service. That person will be delivered. But not a person with duplicitous behavior. I'll tell you another true story. There was one guru, and he used to, his disciples really advertise him. He's very renounced, very detached, and so on. So they would advertise and they would fix his program at very rich people's house, and he would go and give a discourse, and people would bring a big thali of prasad. They would have offered it, and a big thali of prasad, so many items like chapan bhog. He would just touch one item and honor, and then say, I'm done. And people would be so impressed. What kind of renounced sadhu, renounced mahatma is. He just take one morsel, that's it, and left all the other bhoga. And then they would be very impressed, and they would give a lot of donation, a handsome donation to them, that here is truly a renowned sadhu. They will get a huge donation. And on the way back, he would say, I'm feeling so hungry, stop by some restaurant. and he would have, take restaurant food. So again you see that he's hungry, but he would pose himself that I take only very little, I am very advanced. This is a duplicitous behavior. So we have to look that we cannot really, whom we can cheat? We cannot cheat Krishna. We can only cheat ourselves. Therefore, we should not pose ourselves as very advanced or very highly sense controlled. We are not. We should admit our shortcomings. When we admit our shortcomings and we seek mercy, we seek guidance, then we can get the strength to overcome it. But if we try to cover it in a duplicitous behavior, we will actually not advance. We will cheat ourselves. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya forbids that a devotee should not have duplicitous behavior, and Prabhupada very beautifully writes. He says, diplomatic behavior cannot satisfy the soul. Yenatma suprasidati. The soul will be deprived of that nourishment. Soul will not have any nourishment. So diplomatic behavior cannot satisfy the soul. It cannot satisfy even the body and the mind, Prabhupada writes. Just imagine, a person, even he will suffer in his mind also, and he won't be healthy. He cannot even satisfy the body and the mind. This is on purpose. the culprit mind is always suspicious. Therefore, our dealing should always be straightforward and approved by Vedic authorities. If we treat people diplomatically or dupliciously, our spiritual progress is obstructed, is stunted. Therefore, this kind of behavior is forbidden for the devotees, and the devotees should have straightforward behavior. Then the next point Prabhupada talks of, the verse described that Prabhupada elaborates, is Jiva Himsan. Nishiddhachara is forbidden behavior. The first forbidden behavior is Kutinati, diplomacy. Nishiddhachara Kutinati Jiva Himsan. Jiva Himsan means violence toward the living entity. Of course, when one comes to devotional service, we stop committing violence externally. But Prabhupada gives again very insightful purport. You see, we actually, if we just read on our own, we may not get the in-depth understanding. So Prabhupada says, Jiv Himsan, violence toward the living entity means envy toward living entities. Envy toward living entities. And then, and which is one of the greatest threat to our spiritual life. Srimad Bhagavatam in the very beginning says, Dharma prochit kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are freed from envies. What does it mean? Others not read it? The meaning is that the true fruit of Srimad Bhagavatam will be relished when the heart is free from envy. Others can also read it, but then gradually they will be freed from this disease of envy within the heart. Nirmatsaranam satam. So, envy is actually very deep rooted within the heart. We may not realize it. Whenever we want to enjoy, we have an enjoyment mentality. That is a sign of envy. When we think we can benefit others, Bhuktaram Yekata Tapsam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Krishna is the enjoyer, but when we think we are the enjoyers, we are actually having envy. Krishna is the proprietor. When we consider ourselves to be the proprietor and master and proprietor, we are exhibiting envy. Similarly, even on the path of spiritual life, if we think we are the benefactors of others, we are going to deliver the mankind and so many other people, that also is a sign of envy. Because Krishna alone is the enjoyer, he alone is the proprietor, and it is he who delivers. So this mentality is a mentality of envy. And how can we understand that there is envy in the heart? The two things. When we feel happy to see others' faults, when someone falls down, has some faults, especially those whom we don't get well, we don't get along with. So we see, oh, now they have exhibiting some faults, etc., etc. We become happy on seeing others' faults, those who are like competitors, or those whom we don't get along with, those devotees. When we see their faults or they fall down, we become happy. It is a sign of envy. And when we become unhappy on seeing others advance, especially those who have come much later, we see in the Krishna consciousness movement, some devotees come later and they accomplish much more than us. They do a lot. They may get more praise, more appreciation, more recognition. And it's very difficult to take that in. So if we feel unhappy in any way to see those who have come much later than us, but advance more than us, if you feel any kind of unhappiness, there is envy within the heart. So a devotee should very carefully try to get rid of this behavior of envy, or this anartha of envy. and not act in an envious way. That means we should, envy is described as indirect appreciation of somebody. We should directly appreciate. Even if the person who has come later after us in Krishna consciousness but is advancing very well, we should directly appreciate. So we should learn to overcome in our behavior. We should not exhibit any kind of envy. So I like to share two stories of one Sri Vaishnavacharya. How a devotee can overcome envy. So this is the story of Parashar Bhatta. Parashar Bhatta is the son of Kuresh, the disciple of Ramanujacharya. So he became one of the Acharya, and it is described that once he was giving a public talk, public discourse, and there was one envious person. He got up and he started criticizing Parashar Bhatta, saying, "You are talking big things, but I know who you are. I know how you behave privately. I know how addicted you are to enjoying your senses," and so on and so forth. He started speaking publicly. Just imagine that someone is like a spiritual leader, is giving a talk, and someone gets up and starts criticizing and blaspheming publicly. So Parashar Bhatta heard that, and when that person stopped, he just spoke. He said, actually, he said, "I want to thank you." And everyone was surprised. Just imagine his first response. He said, "I want to thank you because I have learned from my gurus that whenever we give a spiritual talk, there should be three elements in the talk. First is glorification of the Lord. One should glorify the Lord. Then one should appreciate the devotees of the Lord. Thirdly, one should admit one's own shortcomings." So he was giving a talk and said, these three elements I've learned should be there. And I have glorified the Lord, I appreciated his devotees, but I had not admitted my shortcomings. So you have helped me complete my discourse. So what I learned from the teachings from my gurus, so that has been to help me. So therefore I want to thank you. I was shocked that how even a person who spoke with great envy, this great soul just took it in such a positive way. He had no envy for that person, absolutely. And he accepted that. So very non-envious, very pure heart. Another story, how Parashar Bhatta, he would go before Lord Ranganath. This is Srirangam, where this is the place of the Sri Vaishnavacharyas. So he would go before Lord Ranganath, Parashar Bhatta, and he would tell to the Lord, "My Lord, my devotional service is so insignificant. Hardly I'm able to serve you, but my heart is filled with all kinds of anarthas. I'm very low, very fallen. I'm in need of your mercy." So he would speak of his faults, his shortcomings before the Lord, and appeal for the Lord's mercy. That was his practice. One day he was speaking to Lord Ranganath. He was saying, "My Lord, my heart is filled with so much greed, envy towards others. I cannot genuinely appreciate your devotees. Please give your mercy to me." So he was in this way depriving himself and begging for the Lord's mercy. While he was speaking, there was another envious person. He said, "My Lord, I am very, very low, very fallen." And the person who was hiding, the envious person, he from the side, he said, "Satyam, true." And he was speaking, "My Lord, my heart is filled with lust, greed, envy, pride, illusion." The person on the side, he said, "Satyam, this is true." "My Lord, really, my devotional service is so feeble. I can't really serve you, but I mainly serve my own senses. I'm just a devotee name only." This person said, "Satyam." So he was, kind of speaking in this way, describing his deplorable condition, and the person was saying Satyam, Satyam. And Parashar Bhatta, again, like I want to contrast here that there was one preacher who was giving a discourse, and he mentioned that actually my heart is filled with so much lust. And after the discourse, someone came to him and said, Prabhuji, I didn't know that you also have lust in the heart. I thought you are a pure devotee. He said, did you take that seriously? that was my humility. You should not take that seriously. So here, Parashar Bhatta is speaking. So we may speak, but we do not take seriously, and we don't want others to take seriously also. So he is speaking, and this other person is saying Satyam. And this is true, this is true. And Parashar Bhatta then spoke very feelingly to the Lord. He said, my Lord, I have been appealing to you and telling you actually I am so fallen. I am in need of your mercy. Today I have a solid witness with me. Today you must accept what I have been proposing. Right? So what I have been saying is actually true. Now that I have a witness, you please accept my appeal as true and uplift me. I am really in need of your mercy. So again you see that how what he spoke he really believed. And someone who said, yes, this is true, and he accepted that this is indeed true, and my Lord, now you accept it also. So I have a witness with me today. So my case is very strong today. So in this way, this is another example of how his heart, although the person was envious, his heart was completely free from any kind of envy towards that. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur would say, we wish nothing less than highest good fortune even for our worst enemy. That was his statement. That means a devotee has no envy towards anyone else, even those who may sometimes exhibit envy towards the devotees. We wish nothing less than highest good fortune even for our worst enemy. So we see how the great sage Durvasa Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam, he glorifies Ambarish Maharaj. He wanted to kill Ambarish, and Ambarish Maharaj was the one who prayed for his protection. So therefore Durvasa Muni tells Lord, the Lord is there in front of him. He says, my Lord, today I have understood the glory of your devotee. Oho ananta dasanam mahatvam drashtu madhyame Kritagasopi yatrajan mangalani samihase. Oh my Lord, today I have seen the true glory of your devotees. Oh Ananta Dasanam. Ananta Dasanam means the servants of the Lord. We are all servants of the Lord. Das Dasi, we get when we are initiated, we get that name, such and such, Das and Dasi, servant of the Lord. So Durvasa Muni is saying, this is the true glory of your servants, my Lord. What is that? Aham Ananta Dasanam Mahattum Drashtum Madhyam. Today I have seen the real glory of your devotees, or your servants. What is that? Kritagasopi yatrajan. I wanted to prosecute him. I wanted to kill him. Mangalani samihase. But he remained my well-wisher. And Prabhupada would always sign, your ever well-wisher. So although I wanted to kill him, but he always remained a well-wishing friend to me, my well-wisher, your ever well-wisher. So that is the great quality of a devotee, and being non-envious. And being non-envious, we can actually make tremendous spiritual progress. So we should learn this behavior, what exactly is being non-envious, and give up any kind of envious behavior in our devotion service. So, Nishiddhachar Kutinati Jiva Himsan Lava Puja Patishta Riyat Rupa Shakhagan. So these are the beads, and another important behavior which we should learn is not to find fault with others, not to see fault. not to criticize. When we see fault, then we naturally criticize. But we can stop over there only. We should learn to see the good in others. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we should learn to see the good in others and not their fault. Lord Chaitanya says, it's a very, very beautiful verse in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad. He says, Ihate ye dosh dekhe tahara se dosh. One who sees the fault of other devotees, that is a greater fault. Ihate ye dosh dekhe tahara se dosh. You see a fault, that is itself a greater fault. Because this age is kalo dosh nidhe rajan, full of faults. Therefore, do not see the fault, just see the good quality. Neglect the fault, knowing that the faults, even if they are very obvious, they are superficial. Because the power of devotional service is such that it will cleanse the person very soon. It will cleanse the person very soon. That person will become pure, but if we see the fault, we will remain impure. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya forbids us to see the fault. Consider it superficial and see the good quality. Even if the good quality is small, devotees should magnify it. So the nature of the Lord Himself and His pure devotees is that they magnify the good quality and minimize the fault, and absolutely neglect the fault and not see it, refuse to see it. And that's the nature of the Supreme Lord also. Beautiful the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita describes. Ishvara sabhava bhaktera nalay aprad alpa seva bahu mane atma prem prasad. What is the nature of the Supreme Lord which we are supposed to imbibe as devotee? A servant is supposed to imbibe the nature of the Master. What is the nature of our beloved Supreme Master, our beloved dear Lord? Ishvara sabhava bhaktera nalay aparad. If a devotee commits some mistake in his service, some offense, he just doesn't consider it, neglects it as very small. Alpa seva bahu mane. Again, he magnifies a small service and considers it to be very big. And in reciprocation, the Lord gives Himself to His devotees. That is His nature. So therefore, it's whatever mercy, nourishment we get from the bhakti, seeing the fault, criticizing the devotee, drains it all away. You don't realize. Just like sometimes you fill a pitcher. We have pitchers in India. In the summer season, you fill the pitcher. Sometimes the pitcher has a very small hole, and one water keeps dripping. You fill the pitcher in the evening, morning we see it's empty. There's no water in it. The whole water is drained out. So, such behavior, like being envious of others, having a duplicitous behavior, finding fault and criticizing others, it just drains away all the nourishment and the mercy that we receive in bhakti. And then we do not grow in devotional service. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is warning us that our devotee should be very careful of such kind of behavior. And lastly, Labh Puja Pratishtha Adi, Upashankakam, these are all the weeds which take away the vital nourishment. So, Prabhupada said, like devotees asked Prabhupada, how we shall show our love for you. And Prabhupada said, you will show your love for me by how you cooperate with each other. So, most of the conflicts, if we analyze, are the conflicts in this world are because our ego wants name, fame, adoration, prestige. We want the credit. We want the name. We want to be known as a pioneer of something or a great personality and so on. So the desire for puja, la, pratishtha, adi actually leads to so many conflicts. And therefore Lord Chaitanya has given any road. And this age is the age of quarrel. it leads to so many quarrel and conflict, age of Kali Yuga. Radha Gopinath Prabhu was describing very wonderfully that how the personality of Kali simply pumps the false egos of the people, and then it manifests as so many quarrels and conflict. So Lord Chaitanya has given therefore a direct antidote. Tanadapi shuni chena parurivasa vishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sudahari, which directly defeats, right, all the vices of Kali. All the vices of Kali. So instead of wanting name, fame, prestige, devotee should be humbler than a blade of grass, tolerant, and give all respect to others. Give all respect to others. Give credit to others. And we simply would like to serve. We would like to serve. And if that is the attitude, if we really follow the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, then we can avoid all kind of conflicts. When the wind blows, then what happens? Those who have stiff egos, they're like bamboos. Bamboo has a stiff ego. The bamboo clash among each other, and there are sparks, and the whole forest is on fire. That's how the forest catches fire. So when there are wind of difficult times, when they blow, some challenges comes, then the false ego clashes, and there are sparks, and there is a forest fire. And that's how the community of devotee may be, destroyed by the clash of egos. But when there is a strong wind, the blade of grass simply bends down. And there is no clash, it simply bends down. And again it rises up when the storm goes away. So therefore the blade of grass teaches us the best lesson on conflict resolution. Simply bend down. Bend down, and then we can avoid so many conflicts. We can save ourselves and save the devotee community if we can take shelter of this verse of Lord Chaitanya and avoid this forbidden behavior by Lord Chaitanya himself in his teachings to Srila Rupa Goswami. And then always chant the holy name. There is a very beautiful verse where Vrindavan Thakur says, what is the significance of Lord Chaitanya's raised hand? We see Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, they have raised hand. What is Lord Chaitanya conveying to us with his hands raised? Hand raised means to make a point, some point emphatically. So Lord Chaitanya is making some emphatic statement. He wants to emphasize something. So Vrindavan Thakur says, one thing he's emphasizing is, with his raised hand is, surrender to Krishna by chanting the Lord's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he says the second thing he's emphasizing, Bahutuli Jagatere Bale Gauradham. So Bahutuli means with his hands raised, Jagatere, he's telling the whole world, giving some important message. Bahutuli Jagatere Bale Gauradham, Anindak Ho Sada Laha Krishna Nam. He's telling with his raised hand, do not criticize others. Anindak Hai Sada Laha Krishna Nam, and always chant the holy name. Raise your consciousness above the fault-finding mentality, above this kind of forbidden behavior, and take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. And then I will deliver you very soon. You will attain the feelings of loving devotion, service for Krishna, the perfection of life very soon. So therefore, two things. Simple, we have to chant the Lord's name, but also with hand raised, Lord Chaitanya is saying, raise your consciousness above this kind of behavior, to see fault, to have a duplicitous behavior, to criticize, to be envious, to be desiring name, fame, profit, adoration. All these things are not desirable. They pollute our consciousness. So with hand raised, he's saying, raise your consciousness above all this kalimal, the dirt which pollute our consciousness, and chant the Lord's name. And then I will deliver you very soon. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. So I will now request His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu to further elaborate. Hare Krishna.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna. Today's title Today's title for the talk is The Invisible Theft. So we heard the one side of the coin, and I'm seeing some faces getting very depressed. So I will speak about the other side of the coin, and that is how to prepare our heart that the invisible Lord steals our heart, the invisible theft. People write on the t-shirt, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. I hope it goes inside the t-shirt also. Not just in a statement on the t-shirt. There are two statements for Sharanagati. The goal of life is to actually surrender to Krishna. Anukulyasa sankalpo, pratikulyasa sadhana. So this, what was so beautifully described by Damodar Prabhu, is about pratikulyasa varjana, how we should carefully avoid things that pull us down. And for that there is anukulyasa sankalpa. We should, great determination, make an effort to see that elevation happens. Prabhupada, right? Elevation in Krishna consciousness. Yeah? Because the more you elevate, like once when I was on a flight, and I saw as we were landing near New York, so-called WTC, which is huge, towering above every other building. From the flight, it looks very tiny. Similarly, when we elevate our consciousness, even the biggest overwhelming problems become so insignificant. You know, we see it in its proper perspective, from a larger perspective, from Krishna's perspective. Krishna consciousness to speak from Krishna's point of view. So insignificant actually. But the nature of the mind is to blow it up also. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandhamoksha. So, what do we do to make our heart so soft like a butter that Krishna wants to steal? The invisible theft. I remember one time, the first time in Radha Gopinath Mandir, we started the Bhakti Shastri course. And we got registered as a center to conduct the courses. And all the first group of batch of devotees were all sitting there ready to write the exam. The first exam of our center. So there's Gauranga Prabhu called Radhanath Maharaj, who happened to be there that day. Said, Maharaj, we are having this Bhakti Shastri. And devotees who are about to write the exams, we can speak a few encouraging words for them. And Maharaj came and
quoted two verses from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And these verses are spoken by Balaramji when he walks into Naimisharanya and sees Romaharshan Sutta, the father of Ugrashava Sutta Goswami, who actually spoke the Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. His father was sitting there, Romaharshan Sutta, and he was speaking. Thousands of sages are sitting, Brahmanas, powerful scholars are sitting, and here is Romaharshan speaking. And Balaramji happens to walk into that assembly. Everyone gets up, puts Balaramji, Adi Guru, he is like the original Guru, puts them on an asana, they put him on an asana. Literally, they worship him, glorify him. And Balaramji looks at Romaharshan, who's sitting on the Vyasasana. It is a fact, if you are sitting on the Vyasasana, even if the Prime Minister of the nation, the President of the nation comes, there is no need for you to get up. Because this asana is not an ordinary asana. It's asana of Vyasdev. But if one's own Guru comes, what to speak of Balaramji? There is a way to acknowledge at least. He didn't even acknowledge, what to speak of showing respect. Now sometimes you may feel respect but may not bow down for certain circumstances. But Balaramji is also the Lord in the heart. His expansion, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, is there in the heart of every living being. Sankarshana, Karanato Yashai, Garbhodashai, Kshiro, Ayobdhishai, Sheshasya Yasyam Shakala. They are his expansions. So Balaramji understood. And before he took a piece of grass and sliced off the head of rope right on the Vyasasana. Can you imagine? Today if it would have happened, what would have happened in social media? Murder on the Vyasasana. So, before chopping his head off, he gives his diagnosis of the disease. And His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj told these first batch of Bhakti Shastri devotees that when you get the certificate of this Bhakti Shastri, and I'm sure you're going to be laminating it and putting it on the wall, above your certificate you put this verse. And this verse is spoken by Balaramji regarding Romaharshan. It says, Risher, in the first verse, he says, what is the qualification of Romaharshan? Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishya. Whose disciple is this Romaharshan? First qualification. What an amazing spiritual master. Directly disciple of Vyasadeva. Can you imagine? Somebody is a student of Vyasadeva. You know, sometimes I'm from Princeton. Can you imagine? I'm from Vyasadeva school. 5,000 years ago, people literally worship you. So, all together combined, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge, this, that. Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishya. Number one. Adhitya Bahuni cha. He has thoroughly, literally everything on his fingertips. He knows scriptures left, right, center. He can quote. Shishyo Adhitya Bahuni cha. Sa Itihasa, Puranani, Dharma Shastrani. He knows all the history, Puranas and Dharma Shastra, how to behave. Everything he knows. And in the next verse he says, but what are the diagnoses? These are the plus points. But what is lacking? Adantasya, avinitasya, vritha panditamanina, na gunaya bhavanti sma, natasya iva ajitatmana. He says, adantasya. He has not been able to control his mind. Avinitasya. he is not humble. When Nimai Pandit is told by his disciples that big Keshav Kashmiri is coming, his chant, all the scholars of Navadvip have run away. Lord Chaitanya says, Phalavanta vrikshayar gunavanta jan, namrata se swabhava anuksham. Phalavanta vriksha or gunavanta jan, namrata se tahara swabhava anuksham. Phalavanta vriksha, a tree laden with fruits, and a person decorated with glorious qualities. Their nature is to bend down. So, adantasya avinitasya, he is not even humble. Vritha panditamanina, vainly he thinks himself to be highly educated, highly literate, highly scholarly, highly knowledgeable. Vritha panditamanina, na gunaya bhavanti sma, he hasn't got some good qualities. And therefore, his sitting on the Vyasasana speaking, natasya iva. Nata is a dramatist. Sometimes somebody becomes Prahlad Maharaj. Little children become Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing Chaturdashi day. And they say, so beautiful verses, and you think, wow. And then they go out and the prasadam is not there, they start crying. It's one thing to say something, another thing to live by it. Because all glories, at least they are chanting, I didn't chant even that. It took me 27 years to learn first verse of Bhagavatam. So natasya iva, ajita atmanaha, they have not controlled their senses, they have not controlled their mind. Basically, they are not decorated with good qualities. These qualities, wherever you hear a glorification of devotee, wherever, in Gita, Bhagavatam, rarely is the devotee described, he was so tall, his nose was so yeah, it is a fact. Some Mahapurusha Lakshana, there are so many qualities of Mahapurushas. But Vyasdev wasn't so good to look at. You know? Rarely they describe a devotee judged by his physical bodily features. Always a devotee is generally glorified by the qualities. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirajavas, adveshta surabhutanam, maitraha, karuna evacha. He is non-envious. Maitraha, very friendly towards all luminaries. Karuna, very compassionate. Nirmamo, nirahankara, not possessive, not at all egoistic. So there are so many descriptions. And in the Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni glorifies to Devahuti. So many wonderful qualities. Titikshava, Karunika, Surada Sarvadehina. Titikshava, very tolerant. Karunika, compassionate. Surada Sarvadehina, the wishing friend of everyone. Ajata Shatrava, he has no enemies. The others may consider him enemy. He has no enemies. So, and 26 qualities of Vaishnava described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kavi, Daksha, Mauni. So like that, wherever devotees are described, it's by the qualities. I remember one time, I quote this very often, this is my very favorite incident of my life. So one time, Rukmini Mataji had come to our temple along with her husband many years ago. And we have a very unique Vyasasana, big Vyasasana that 5-6 people can sit. So both of them were sitting and Radha Swami Maharaj had asked them to speak about their interaction with Prabhupada, share their interaction with Prabhupada. So Mataji began and she was singing Jai Radha Mama, very sweet. And I was looking at her. I was sitting almost like this, very close. I was looking at her. I was thinking, wow, she's looking so beautiful. Which she was. What can I do? And suddenly I said, I'm sitting in front of Radha Gopinath in the temple, looking at a woman on the rasa, and rather than hearing, I'm looking at, thinking she's very beautiful. Krishna, 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 offense. Then I looked down. I said, I'll go on the lecture, I will look at the floor. I will not raise my eyes. This is to repent for the offense I did. Rather than hearing, I am looking at her beauty. Somehow at childhood I had this nature. When I look at an old person, I was thinking how this person must have looked when they were young. And when I was looking at a young child, I think, when he becomes old, how will he look? I don't know whether others also do. Probably that's what made me Krishna conscious. I looked in the mirror, how will I look? Usse pehle thoda bhakti karna. Do your bhakti before you become old. So I was thinking, my God, she must be in her 60s and she's looking so beautiful. How she must have been when she is, 16 or 17. Then I said, this is Hari. And then she began. And she said, so in 1966 or 67 she took initiation, one of the first batches. So it seems she went and she kneeled down before Prabhupada, offered her respects and held her hand to receive the beads. And she said, Prabhupada looked at her and he said, you are so beautiful. I felt so relieved. I felt I'm in parampara. And wow, so I'm not, after all, Mahajanoyena Gata Sabha. So, and then she said, he told, your name is Rukmini Devi. Rukmini was so beautiful, Shishupal fell off the chariot just by looking at her. She just kind of raised her, and few people rolled down their chariot and housed her elephant. She was so beautiful actually. So Prabhupada said, oh, you're so beautiful. Your name will be Rukmini Devi Dasi. And then she said, Prabhupada spoke a statement which he gave me a lifetime project. After giving the name, he said, oh, you're so beautiful. Your name will be Rukmini Devi Dasi. And after handing the beads, he said, now I want you to become beautiful from within. And she was saying that for last 40 years, 30-40 years, I'm meditating. What did he tell me? As soon as she said that, I remembered a verse I had memorized in my high school days. I had taken Sanskrit as a third language. So they have what is called as Subhashita. Subhashita means moral instruction, good instructions. Then it says about ornament, the glory of ornaments. It said, Narasya abharanam. Abharana means ornament. Narasya abharanam rupam. So a man or a woman is very attractive if she has a beautiful facial features. So narasya abharanam rupam. So if a person is very beautiful, then you feel like looking again and again. So narasya abharanam rupam. Then it says rupasya abharanam guna. A person may be very beautiful, but more attractive or ornament of that beauty, which makes it much more, because ornaments are put to make a person more attractive. So a person's attraction, ornament is the face, and the attraction of beauty of the physical feature is qualities, guna. Then it says gunasya abharanam jnanam. And the qualities is decorated by if it is founded on knowledge. And jnanasya abharanam kshama. And that decoration of a knowledgeable person is his compassion or forgivingness or letting go, forgiving basically. Narasya abharanam rupam. Somebody may be very extremely beautiful, but rupasya abharanam guna. It is described in the Ramayana that Kaikeyi was extremely beautiful. She was so beautiful that after her marriage to Dashrath, Dashrath Maharaj rarely would go to Kaushalya or Sumitra. There were cobwebs in the palace of Kaushalya and Sumitra because he was always be in the palace of Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi was extremely beautiful. But the day she associated with Manthara, who polluted her heart, poisoned her heart, and made it so hard, like steel, cold like steel, that Ram, whom she loved even more than her son Bharat, she was absolutely heartless in sending him to the forest. Others were crying, lamenting. She had no effect, had no effect. Dashrath said, "You will become a widow, I'm going to die. My life is run. If he goes, I'm finished. Please." He begged her, chastised her, did whatever possible. She was unmoved like a rock. And it is described, nowhere in the Ramayana it says that she became ugly. But anyone who saw Kaikeyi from that day would immediately look away and go and take bath in a river with their clothes on. I have been contaminated. I have been polluted by looking at this face of this lady. So rupasya abharanam guna, person may be very beautiful. That is attractive for some time. But you are attracted for a long time when a person is decorated with wonderful qualities. Rupasya abharanam guna. Gunasya abharanam jnana. The beauty of qualities is if those qualities are founded on knowledge. For example, Arjun showed a glorious quality of compassion on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Oh, no, these are my own people, they are respectable seniors. I'm not going to kill. I'm going to just leave the battlefield. I would rather beg and live than to fight with them. He was showing compassion. But Krishna called it impotence. Why? Because this is not based on truth, solid knowledge. Those qualities, even Kamsa showed wonderful quality. Oh, my sister is going to her in-laws' house. I will personally drive the chariot. And everyone had tears in his eyes. Wow, brother means like Kamsa you should. You're telling the children, learn from Kamsa, okay? Be like a good brother. And in one instance, he showed his real color. As soon as his sense gratification was disturbed. So, it should be based on knowledge, solid foundation of knowledge. Narasya gurupasya abharanam gunaha, gunasya abharanam jnana, and jnanasya abharanam kshama. Mere knowledge. They are like Mayavadis. They also have knowledge of Brahman, but their heart is very hard-hearted. Tarkika Shrigala Sange Bhiu Kori Ebesi Mukhe Sada Boli Krishna Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a scholar, super scholar. He knew all the scriptures. But his heart was so dry because it was not beautified and softened by pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. So the becoming beautiful from within, so beautiful that Krishna becomes attracted to the heart. Krishna is all attractive. He is Madan Mohan. Even Cupid is attracted to him. But Krishna is attracted to Madan Mohan Mohini, Srimati Radharani. Why? She is internal potency. She is the predominating deity of devotion to Krishna. A heart which is filled with devotion to Krishna becomes so beautiful. Imagine Shabri. It's described in the Ramayana. Her hair was white like snowflakes, like something that color. And she was shivering like banana tree in a storm. Like she was like, this is all like, she was so old, and her skin was completely kind of wrinkled. But she attracted Lord Ram to come all the way. Her devotion attracted. Ram was sold out by her devotion. So really what attracts the invisible threat is actually devotion. And whatever is necessary to acquire that. See, books, we are talking about Bhakti Shastri, coming back to why this course, look our story. Our philosophy, it's a fact. There is no other philosophy as glorious as the Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a fact. That was spoken by Krishna, it's nothing new. Krishna spoke it in the 9th chapter, 4th and 5th verse. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina mastani sarvabhutani nacham tesho vasthita nachamastani bhutani pashyami yogamaishwaram. What did you say? Krishna, did I hear it right? Imagine if I were to tell you, my dear devotees, this whole room, this whole house is me. I am in the house. The house is within me. But I am outside the house. This is exactly what Krishna is telling. I am repeating. Translated in a purport where we can relate. If I were to tell you seriously, the straight face, my dear devotees, the whole house is me. I am inside the house. The house is inside me, but I am outside the house. You'll say, Prabhuji, whom did you bring for lecture? Taking him to the mental hospital before making him sit on the Vyasa seat. But Krishna is saying this. I am this creation, I am in the creation, I am outside the creation, I am not in the flesh. Achintya Bheda Abheda, this whole creation. And he proved it. I can't. He proved it. When he showed his universal form, he showed how he is the universe. Andantarastha Paramanu Chantarastha. To his mother, he showed the whole cosmic manifestation within his mouth, including himself and Mother Yashoda were inside his mouth. And this was not some special effect. He showed to Akrura, that while I am here, actually I am giving you this show of Golok Vrindavan. And this Golok Vrindavan, this Vrindavan is not different from that. Every statement he proved, he demonstrated it. So there is no doubt that Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is the highest. So this is called as Siddhanta, the head knowledge. But for the head knowledge, simply head knowledge, what Romaharshan Sutta was demonstrating is useless without Sat Achar. Sat Achar means realize knowledge in the heart. When the knowledge sinks to the heart and it's applied in our thoughts, words and action, that is called Sadachar. That is the qualities. A quality in alignment with our conclusive philosophy. That is a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada that's why he's called Book Bhagavad and a person Bhagavad. There are two Bhagavad. There is a Book Bhagavad and there is a person Bhagavad who is personification. Just by seeing him, his thoughts, his words, his actions, his interactions, his dealings, one can No need to study the Bhagavatam. You know the essence of the Bhagavatam simply by seeing the life of such a person. So, the distance is very less from the head to the heart. Especially if you are short-necked, unlike me. Somebody told me, your neck is like a little giraffe. After that, I increased the collar. Just to give a special effect. But still, distance is quite short. But then it may take lifetimes to bring it from here to here. For Siddhanta to become Sat Achar, it takes years of sadhana. And this is where the instructions, Anukulya se sankalpa, what are the favorable things? I don't care whether my senses, my mind, my ego likes it or not. If these are favorable, I will adopt it. And anything that is unfavorable, however pleasing to my senses, my mind, my intelligence, my ego, if it is unfavorable, I will avoid it. Very easy to speak, very difficult to apply. But if we can do that, we are showing to Krishna that I love you and I am ready to do anything to please you, Krishna. With such a determination, such a heart, Krishna cannot but steal it. He has to, he just can't resist himself. The gopis would make butter, Krishna would steal it. Yashoda would, I know sometimes he was caught. The gopis would come and complain. Krishna, Yashoda is impossible, I don't believe he stole. Yeah, we caught him, he said. Why would, and then Yashoda would say, all right, today I'm going to punish him. Please don't punish. And they would ask, oh, then why do you come and complain? He said, Yashoda, we just need an excuse to come and see him and speak about him, that's all. We don't care whether he steals whatever, he stole our heart, including our butter. Because the butter that they churned was churned. The purpose of churning their butter was simply Krishna steals. To hell with the butter if the butter thief doesn't steal it. For them the butter was exclusively meant for Krishna. So when our thoughts, words and actions are simply to please Krishna, Krishna cannot but, he is sold out and he is to that's such a heart and he will steal it. So, the idea is basically of all our acharyas, what they have given. Basically, scriptures contain two statements: do's and don'ts, prescriptions and prohibitions, vidhi and nishedh. And these vidhi and nishedh also are of different levels. That's why Rupa Goswami uses the word niyama agraha. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. Agraha means following the rules and regulations just for the sake of following. And agraha means neglecting the rules and regulations, thinking, hey, I'm beyond it. Both are dangerous. Both are not beneficial. So one has to follow the rules, but never forget the spirit behind the rules. There is a letter of the law and there is a spirit of the law. The spirit must be understood. And when we move to the next level, the lower level can be given. And therefore, this is very difficult. What to give up and what to accept. What is acceptable at one stage has to be given up at another stage. I will ask you a question. If someone breaks somebody's window and enters in the middle of the night, what do you do to that fellow? Call the police, right? If the house is on fire and a child is caught inside, in the middle of the night, somebody detects smoke coming out. Nobody dares enter, just like WTC. And the firemen break and they enter. The action is the same. breaking the house of someone in the middle of the night, entering through the window. Action is the same. A thief does it, a fireman may do it. But it's not about the activity itself, but the spirit behind why you do what you do. Somebody eats only this much rice, you glorify, wow, Mahatma. And doesn't go to the restaurant after that. He's a Mahatma. But even if he eats 1 grain of rice on Ekadashi, Duratma. So it's not about eating, it's about when. So it's the time, it's the intention, it's the action. So in and of itself, nothing is good or bad. It is your level of consciousness. It's like a staircase. When you are at the lower level, the first step is actually a beneficial step. You should keep it. And next, lift the previous leg and put it on the second step. And after that you say, now I have, this poor step has helped me. I cannot give it up. They will continue to be there. I'm a very fixed up devotee. I'm fixed up wherever I am. Nonsense. Remove the previous leg, put it on the third. Remove the third one, put it on the fourth. So at one time what you grab, one time what you accept, other time you have to give it up. If you don't give it up, you won't progress. And if you don't accept the next one, still you won't progress. And therefore, so many rules and regulations are very, it's a relative thing. Therefore, one must know the spirit of the law. Then you know which law to accept, which law to reject, when to accept, when to reject. That's very important. So, smartavya sadadam Vishnu, vismartavya na jatu chitta. Sarve vidhi nishedhyaschihu etayore vikhinka. The essence is this. All the essence of do's is do everything that helps you to remember the Lord. Essence of don't do anything that will make you forget the Lord. That's it. It's as simple as that. You know? So we need to understand. And therefore, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnana jnaninaha tattvadarshina. Those who know the essence, we need that guidance. They tell us, this is the right time, give it up. This is to be accepted right now. You know, certain root principles remain the same, but its application may change over time to time. And I would like to just conclude with one more story, what he very beautifully said. This is in the Udyoga Parva, just before the battle of Kurukshetra is about to begin. Imagine, tomorrow the battle is about to begin. Crores of people, lakhs and lakhs of soldiers have gathered together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, ready to fight. Everyone is ready, preparing, sharpening their swords, you know. And tomorrow, as soon as the sun rises at the horizon, conch shell blows, war starts. Everyone, war cry, everyone is going to go. And here at Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra can't sleep. He's in tremendous anxiety. He knows that his sons are on the wrong side. He knows that the Pandavas are on the right side. But he's made himself so helpless. Then in the middle of the night, he call my friend, call my secretary Sanjay. So the soldier goes and calls Sanjay. Here in Hastinapur, right in the... And Sanjay comes. Sanjay, sit down. Tell me Sanjay, what will be the outcome of the battle? Please tell me, Sanjay, I'm very disturbed. I can't sleep. I'm in tremendous anxiety. I'm stressed out. Please tell me, what will be the outcome of the battle? Sanjay, you can see. Tell me. Because Sanjay has been gifted with the vision. to see everything by Vyasadev's mercy. So Sanjay says, my dear master, do you want me to tell you? Yes. Are you sure you want me to tell you? Yes. Are you ready to hear what I am telling you? I'm going to tell you? Yes. No, I can't trust. I want one more witness, third person to come. Because he knew what will be his reaction. He may chop his head off. He may kill him immediately. You imagine what was his power. Bhima came at the end of the battle and he was wanting to embrace all the brothers. And he called Bhima. And Bhima was about to go. Krishna said, and he sent an iron statue of Bhima on which Duryodhana would practice. Iron statue made of solid steel. He said, and he embraced and crushed it to powder. And then he started crying. I didn't intend to. I said, don't worry, your intention was because Bhima didn't die. Huh? It was an iron statue on which Duryodhana would practice. So that was, Sanjay knew his power. So he said, call some third person. And then he said, you please tell me. So, my dear master, please hear. At the end of the 18th day, not one of your sons will survive. Not one of your relatives will survive. Except few people countable on the fingers, including the Pandavas. No one will come back from this battlefield. You will be miserable for the rest of your life. Very sharp. And Dhritarashtra, he said, how, Sanjay, how is it that you are able to see what I am not able to see? Both of us are students of Vyasadeva. Both, by the way, were students of Vyasadeva. Probably benchmates also. Both studied under the same professor. Both passed out with flying colors. But how is it that you are able to clearly have the vision and I am not? Of course, obviously he was physically blind. But at least the inner eyes, chakshuhu unmilitam yena, his inner eyes could have been opened. He knew all the scriptures. He said, how am I able to not see? And then again Sanjay said, are you ready to hear? Are you sure you want to hear? I said, yes, please tell. He said, my dear master, your heart has a lot of holes in it. It's like a pot with 100 holes. Whatever you hear, good advice, whether it is from Vidura, whether it is from Maitreya, whether it is from all the sages who come, and from your own wife Gandhari, everyone is telling you, pouring wonderful wisdom through your ears, but it doesn't stay in your heart because it has a lot of holes in it. As it was told, 5 minutes it stays. And yeah, I know, but what can I do? ठीक है, सफर. This is your problem. And this is where the theft thing comes into play. Let's seal the holes. Once we seal the hole, then it will be very nice. Talking about sealing the holes, there's a very sweet pastime. One time, Srimati Radharani approached Krishna. And she was very angry. She said, don't look at me. She told Krishna, she said, don't look at me. I'm very angry. What happened? What happened? Why is she angry? No. She was crying. Radharani started crying. She said, tell me, Baba, what, everyone is blaming me. They are calling me Kalankini. You are a Kalank. You are a Kalank means what you are a black sheep. You are a black sheep of the family. A black sheep of Vrindavan. The black mark. Therefore, I don't want to see you. I don't want to. Why? They are connecting me to you. They are telling I am unchaste. Because she's always moving Krishna, she's unchaste. I can't tolerate it anymore. All the sages in the world come and worship you and they are glorified. And if I love you, why am I blamed? The whole world worships you, the whole world loves you and they glorify. And if I love you, what mistake did I do? And they say, I am only the big unchaste person. Don't see my face again. Relax. Krishna said, relax, don't worry. I will arrange something. Whole Braj Dham will know how great you are. Alright. Next day, Krishna had super fever. This is self-created fever. So much, 104, 105. Extreme anxiety, and he fainted actually. Krishna fainted out of fever. And Yashodama is crying. She told Nanda Maharaj said, please go call some Vaidya. All Vaidyas are coming and trying, nothing is happening. Yashodama said, I'm going to give up my life. And then suddenly she said, just go somehow, see someone. And then right in front of the house there was one Vaidya going and shouting loudly, anyone is sick, I can cure actually. I am a very famous doctor. Immediately, go. Nanda Maharaj sent. And he came. He was blackish in color. And he came. Very Brahminical effulgence. He came. So he said, please, my son is about to die. Do something for him. We'll give you anything you want. Very serious case. That's the Prabhu says. Very difficult. Can you do something? Very difficult. It is possible, but very difficult. He said, no, please, we are falling at your feet. Do something. But there is a problem. So what problem? Very simple problem. I have the medicine. Actually, I have the medicine, but I need an anupan. Anupan means just like there are some medicines you have to take with honey, some medicines you have to take with water, some medicines you have to take with milk. So those ingredients into which it is added is called anupan. To add the efficiency of the medicine, you have to put it in some liquid. That can be anything. So I need an anupan. If that anupan is there, I can cure this disease. So what is that anupan? Please tell me. It's very simple. I will give you a pot which is made of 100 holes. And the most chaste person in the whole of Braj should be called. And from here, she should take the pot, go to Yamuna and pick up the water and bring it. If some water remains by the time they come here, that water I have to add with the medicine. So, most chaste person, only a chaste person can actually bring this. Otherwise, Hare Krishna. Yashoda said, I will go. I have told Nanda Maharaj. No, mother can't go. Mother of the patient should not go. Somebody else should go. So then it was announced, please announce in the whole of Brasdam, somebody do something. So Jatila and Kutila, they heard, who is Radharani's sister-in-law and mother-in-law. So the mother-in-law said, let the whole world know how I have been so chaste to my husband. Give it. And everyone said, are you sure? Yeah. Okay. And she went inside. She slipped and went into the and then she somehow picked up. Again she picked up. And every time she would buy, that time she would lift it. Not a drop would remain. And she became a laughing stock. Then Kutila said, should I go? Yes, I will 100% go. Obviously. Everyone tried. Both of them couldn't. Then ultimately he says, what will do? My Kana is going to die. So everyone said, why don't we try Radharani? Radharani. Jatila and Kudala said, what? We know what Radharani is. Well, we try, Baba, we can try this. Okay, ठीक है, don't try then. You are Krishna. No, please call. Yashoda said, call Radharani. So Radharani came, she was very hesitant, she was standing in the back, very embarrassed. She said, please, you don't, no, please go. And Radharani went. And she looked at the pot, 100 holes. She prayed to Krishna and she dipped it inside. And as soon as she dipped it inside she saw Krishna's face smiling from inside the pot. And Krishna expanded his fingers and put all the fingers into the holes. He said, yes, go now. And she brought it. Everyone said, wow, Radharani is the most chaste lady. And that's what they added. And from that day on, the whole Braj Dham said, if there is anyone chaste, super chaste, that is Srimati Radha. And therefore Krishna did this invisible theft, stealing her heart, because her heart is already stolen by Krishna. So yeah, true chastity is about pure, Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Prajapati, Dhyyampati, Lokapati, Dharapati. Patir Gatischa, Andhaka Vrishni Satvatam, Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati. The ultimate Pati. Pati means the protector and the maintainer. The only Pati is Krishna actually. And one who is 100% surrendered to Krishna is the most chaste. To that extent our devotion is chaste. Ahaituki, apratihata, yayatma suprasida. So let us pray at the lotus feet of Sri Radha, Vrindavan Natvar, that let our heart be covered up, removed of all the holes. Let us fill it up with our determination by following the do's and not leave the holes of don'ts. Remove all the unwanted things and increase our devotion so that one day the heart becomes so soft as a butter that Krishna wants to come and do the invisible theft. Bolo Makhan Chor Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai. Shri Sri Radha Vrindavan Natvar ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hare Krishna.
If anybody have any questions, please go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can speak louder. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your beautiful presentation. Very enlightening. Damodar Prabhu, what you said about the